wish I had coffee.
I'll unmute once it's...
And we're up and running. And I like it where you get to play DJ and actually fade the song out.
Yeah.
You like that, Weston? Is that your favorite part?
Yes, very fun.
Nice. Hey, everybody. Welcome to This Pink Cloud, Season 2, Episode 20.
Wow.
Season 2, Episode 20. I think we missed an episode in there, but that'll be lore. It's like, why isn't there
I
episode
was the
18?
second 13. Do you know that?
Yeah, right. I like that. I like that. So anyway, just a couple of things. If you follow the show, just wanted to let y'all know that the professor, Nolan, is doing well and in a place where he needs to be and coming to the realization of where he made his errors in his recovery, so to speak.
Yes, Father Kelly. Thank you.
Yes. Also, if you have a second, and I will let you do it right now, if you go to thispinkcloud.com, it's going to route you to our YouTube channel. So please, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a watermark, and you can just hit subscribe. It's that easy. Or, if you want to put in thispinkcloud.com, it'll take you there. What else do we have? Oh, I want to hit the sponsor at the top of the show. We have Summer Sky, the lovely Summer Sky. This is brought to you by them. They are at summersky.us. That number is 888-857-8857. Once again, that's summersky.us. They're in lovely Stephenville, Texas, and that is 888-857-8857. So I have to say all that now because it's actually a podcast now.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, we go to all the formats now. So, yeah, not everybody's watching us. But if you want to watch us, go to YouTube. Let's see. What else do I have? Oh, yeah, I want to plug the shirts if you can there, Weston. Have these groovy shirts. One, which I'm wearing. I have shirts and stickers. Ooh. And Jim Bob is the guard of the stickers there. But if you go to djkellyreverb.com and then /shop, or you just go on the website, djkellyreverb.com, you can find these groovy shirts, and they're for sale, and all proceeds support gas money.
The rainbow one is my favorite.
Which one? Oh, the rainbow one? Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is special. I couldn't let it die, but that is the most expensive one because I have to go DTG, and if you're in the shirt game, that's direct to garment. So, but anyway,
DTG game.
DTG,
down to gaffle.
Oh, so it's not
direct,
so bad.
Direct to garment. Hey, are you making?
I was not sure after teaching cycle.
By the way, anyway, sitting in with me, I am DJ Kelly Reverb, and that would be Dusty Burrows and Stephanie Ann. I don't know. Would you like to say your last name, or does it matter?
Not.
Okay, so Stephanie Ann, aka Myth America.
Yeah, Myth America is great. No, it's Ireland, like the country. What can I say? Yeah.
Hey, are you related to Kathy Ireland, man?
As a matter of fact, no.
Nice. Well, that question dates me as well. So
it sure does, Pumpkin.
It sure does.
Wasn't she married to Uncle Jesse?
God.
I don't know.
Really?
Was she?
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll have to look
my
that
head
up.
went to Uncle Jesse from Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh,
I was like,
wow. What kind of,
and that dated me.
Kind of
What do they got going on down there in Hazard County?
I totally went there, yeah.
But anyway, I have these guys on to talk about Recovery Dharma, and that would be DFW or North DFW, correct?
I'm going with the North DFW.
Okay, so, but before we get to that, I kind of want to, I always like to put in a little Recovery 101 for the people out there.
Sure.
And you guys are both in long-term recovery. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I want to look into each of y'all's toolbox.
Oh, Okay, well.
And just, we'll start with Stephanie.
Sure.
And by the way, Stephanie Ann did just come back from teaching a cycle class,
yoga, then cycle.
Look at you.
I gave everybody their lavender scented towels.
And she's got the sweat to prove it.
Yes,
so
I certainly do.
But I appreciate you coming in.
This is me in my natural state. Bro.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. But yeah, so let's get a peek into what is working for Stephanie Ann.
Yeah, so breathing's been working really well for me. Yoga, giving back to my community, but what it looked like early on in recovery was social support. It still is social support for me today, and that's come in a variety of ways, different meetings, different fellowships. I've tried out churches, temples, all kinds of things, 12-step recovery Dharma.
You did start, and you openly say that you started in 12-step recovery.
I did start in 12-step recovery, and it literally, when I say it saved my life, it saved the mind.
Right.
For anyone who's been in recovery or has been around any rooms of recovery, it all centers and stems in the mind, right? Whether it's your thoughts, so demystifying addiction, whether it's processing or substance use, everything centers in the mind. Our neurotransmitters are out of whack.
Yeah.
And that's why people drink and drug, and people have,
And you carve those neural pathways.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
You make these, that reward system gets, burned, seared into your brain.
You know what's funny? What I do now is I have my, my Kroger squirts that I always talk about, right? The energy drink that you put in water and stuff like that. But I keep this exactly where I kept my chilled vodka. In the freezer, so it's my little neural pathway that I carved, and I just replaced it with something a little healthy,
right?
A healthier choice,
less detrimental to your health.
There we go. We go.
And that's really what it's about. When I came into
retraining your brain,
retrain it, make new habits, make new practices, because that's what an addiction is. It's a habit. It's a coping skill, if you will.
Now, did you hear that, kids?
Awry.
She's saying basically recovery is a new habit.
Absolutely.
Right. So
recovery is a new
habit. I read into that. I got
perfect.
I picked up what you were throwing down. So, Dusty Burrows, thank you for coming in. I know we are working at TCC, and they were kind enough to let you off work today, so you can shout out to them.
What's up, TCC fam? I'm actually not off work.
You're actually
a break
working
to do this show. So
okay.
I started out my day at Starbucks.
Right.
Jamming away on the computer. But yeah, as far as recovery goes, for me, the biggest part of recovery is community. Surrounding myself with people like y'all who will support me and call me on my stuff.
Right.
And that's really important, because if we're not around people who will tell it like it is and let us know, then we'll just allow ourselves to get sicker.
Right.
Another part of that is spirituality for me. And that looks different for everybody. For me, it looks like service. It looks like meditation. It looks like prayer. It's a very personal kind of one-on-one experience that I have with my higher power.
Sure.
And that just works for me. Another aspect of this is just education, because there's no how-to book really on recovery.
Sure.
We have lots of books. We have Alcoholics Anonymous, which is a phenomenal, almost flawless book of how to get sober and stay sober. Recovery Dharma, once again, almost flawless book. So what I try to do is continue to educate myself, because just as Stephanie mentioned, my mind was not operating at a healthy capacity.
Full potential.
Yeah. Right.
What I'm learning, though, is it's really easy to reprogram it, but it takes a while.
Sure.
So I had decades and decades of, almost...
How many decades?
Almost 3 decades. Almost 3
7
decades.
decades.
I'm actually 95 years old.
Dusty actually he
95.
dyes his beard, so yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's going to take a little while to retrain, reprogram your brain. But, as we know,
I was just picturing you with a white beard, dude. And you
like Uncle Jesse
no.
Dukes
Well, I was
going
to say Uncle Jesse, or I was going to say Father Time, dude.
Or the
Something like
Sam the Snowman from the Rudolph movie.
Some kind of
yes.
sky daddy.
What's happening
Anyway,
now?
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, and I know I did, but I was just picturing Dusty with a gray beard, and
that's
I
my new
was
hashtag
enjoying
this
it.
week, Sky Daddy. But yeah, I just trying to keep it real simple and continue this this hunger to learn more about myself and how I think and how I feel, because the more I dig into this, it keeps coming back to the same thing, that all of my problems begin in between my ears, and that's where the solution can happen as well.
Right.
But the solution has to come from external information, external sources, and then kind of
putting that into
fold it
practice.
in, like
yeah.
you're making a cake.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of it in a nutshell for me. Community and service. Stop thinking about myself, as my buddy Dan says.
Yeah. No, and that's a tough thing to do, and you don't even realize you're doing that sometimes.
Well, I'll even take that a step further. It's not about me stop thinking about myself, but it's thinking about myself in another light.
Right.
And knowing that I deserve to take care of myself.
Right.
I deserve to be selfish.
Sure.
So I can be selfless for others.
Right.
There's a difference. And so being new in recovery, it's very easy to fall into that trap of stop thinking about yourself, come on, just muscle through it. And, just, you're a selfish, self-centered bastard. Come on.
Right.
Like, let's let go of this toxic masculinity already. I mean, it's time. It's 2021.
Right.
There are flaws in every book and every program, but at the end of the day, it really is about tuning into true self for me.
Sure. Right.
It really is about tuning into that. Not being a badass and not being a, meek and, hiding in a corner. We're all human here, man.
Right.
And so many people are walking around with addictive behavior that may never see that and get that chance, you know, to grow out of it.
Well, and I was going to say what a lot of people don't realize and why they are not successful in recovery is because they're not dealing with the trauma.
Yeah,
that
absolutely
they've had past experience or present, and they're not separating themselves from that situation or dealing with what happened to them in the past. And that's what I love, as far as 12-step and Recovery Dharma and all that stuff, it's all designed for you to, not just only, but it's designed to help you deal with that trauma.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I think at this point, at least with my peers and when I work with clients at work in counseling, we talk far less about chemical addictions than people would think. Because for me, once I stopped using alcohol and drugs, there was a whole bunch of things that I needed to work on as far as my behaviors and my conduct and my thinking.
Right.
Because the abstinence piece, fairly simple. Don't pick it up. Don't put it in my body. The other pieces, much more challenging and much more complex.
And rarely spoken about in 12-step, depending on if you're going for the substance portion.
Right.
Rarely do you hear anything about behavior. So then you see people, behaving in a certain way.
Well,
and
I
then
think that's why they want you to kind of admit to another person, and that's supposed to be your trauma dealing with. I think, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's kind of what I took it as.
All I can say is from my experience of being around and in the rooms, there's far more people that are abstinent.
Right.
And probably maybe, lacking on the recovered part of the game.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, like a miserable sober.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Or dry drunk, as they call it.
Well,
That's what I've
and
heard.
even so, there's people who will say, well, I've worked the 12 steps and I've been sober for 20 or 30 years and they're cheating on their wives or their husbands and they're,
or they have a nice gambling addiction.
And I don't say that for judgment, but
sure.
if I'm looking for my true self, I'm I need somebody who is also looking for their true self or has found their true self. You can't give what you don't have. They say that a lot, and that really is true. And I found that to be true. I needed to learn how to slow down, and a lot of the people that I was around, they weren't trying to slow down. They were trying to speed it up. And I was like, I can't.
Well, and I guess that's, how we're kind of wired as addicts. We always want instant gratification.
Yes.
So, and we're so used to that. And
no pain, no suffering. I don't want to suffer, yet I'm suffering.
And then a couple other things, like, if you are feeling like a drink and you don't want to drink, there's definitely like a few things I like to talk about. Like there's the HALT acronym, which I love. I always love a good acronym, which is hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Yeah.
Because if you're any of those, there's a greater chance of relapse. So are you liking the acronyms I'm throwing out?
Acronyms.
Well,
head.
I made up one, right? It's TAMS.
Yeah, TAMS.
Trigger analyzing mechanisms. So that would be like HALT.
Is this one? This one's more like college level than
right.
Trigger
analyzing
mechanisms.
I made that up.
You need to put that on a shirt.
TAMS.
Yeah, exactly. Your TAMS.
Damn them
Hey,
TAMS.
watch your TAMS, man. What do you mean TAMS? Well, like HALT. And what's another? Yeah, what is another TAM?
Keep it simple,
I have a good one.
sweetie.
You have a good one?
I have a good one. I learned this one yesterday.
Face
on
everything
the Everyday
in Recovery.
Buddhism podcast. It was
Uh-oh. Yeah, you were. I think you mentioned it, actually.
Yes. This is called the Dan.
Okay.
Not the Dan Nye brand, but the Dan.
Hey,
It's
shout
the
out, Dan.
Default
Shout out to
Attentional Network. Yeah.
Hold
shout
on.
out, Dan.
What is that again?
The Default Attentional Network.
Okay.
So it's the part of our thinking that's going all the time when we're awake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's trying to attach to something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to attach to this thought, the future, the past, what I did, what I need to do, what I want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the MOMO, right?
Okay.
The moment by moment brain. Like, is that pizza I smell?
Uh-huh.
Is that a glass of wine I smell? Who's that girl walking by?
Right.
So it's kind of like our squirrel mind, right?
Okay.
And so those are trying to attach to things. And when they attach to something and we don't get them, and it's constant throughout the day, it creates a sense of low-grade unhappiness.
Which we are trying to avoid, obviously, right?
Yeah, so the idea was to disidentify from those things, but not dissociate like we were talking about earlier.
Right. I gotcha. Well, that's all good stuff. And, that's very
Pursuit
deep.
of knowledge, Kelly. That's what we're doing.
I know. Well, okay, so basically the reason why I was having you guys on is because I want to talk about Recovery Dharma. And the thing is when somebody hears about it, and there was or still probably is some faction of refugee recovery.
Just refuge.
Refuge. I'm sorry, refuge recovery. Right. Refugee is a different
totally
thing.
different thing.
Sorry.
Completely.
I think Lauryn Hill, maybe.
Right. I think Tom Petty said something about that. But, so refuge recovery.
Yeah.
But basically, I kind of want to put this out there and demystify, because it's not necessarily a religion. There can be a religion aspect to any recovery program that's out there, right?
Well, so let's clear it all up.
Okay.
So with a 12-step, it's not a religious program.
Thank you for putting your phone down.
Yeah, it's a spiritual program.
Uh-huh.
And actually, Recovery Dharma is not a spiritual program. It's a non-theistic program. It means that there's not a God. They're not using a God. It's non-theistic. And it is not based on a spirituality or a higher power taking charge, but it's based on, hey, you know what? You can do this if you bring your mind and your attention to things like detachment, right? To things of meditation, of being aware of that squirrel brain, that monkey mind, right? Doesn't mean that you're not going to have it. You're going to have it. You're human. That's what makes us human, having the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. So what it does is it just allows you to settle in and just just be,
Right.
without
gotcha.
needing to dissociate.
Right. Okay. So when people hear the term Dharma, right? I automatically, and my wife also, we're a little bit older, and we automatically think of Lost. You remember the series?
Yeah, I think of Dharma and Greg.
Yeah, Dharma and Greg.
Yeah, there's that.
Or Stev's youngest daughter, Dharma.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Shout out, Steph.
Hey, Steph.
All
Skate
right.
straight.
Yeah, right. But what is exactly the meaning of Dharma? I have it here in case y'all don't know.
Well, the short version, and Steph can elaborate on this, but it just means the truth. Finding not the truth, but your truth.
Okay. I like that because it says an aspect of truth or reality. Good job, Dusty. You studied up. You studied up. Good job, bud.
I snorted.
But so
Kelly, it's your turn. Test.
Refuge. No, but so refuge recovery was something that was popular. We'll get there was a little dirt, and you can expound on that, Dusty. So,
well, I'll try to keep it as clean as I can. But basically, refuge recovery was started by Noah Levine, a fantastic guy, great author. He wrote the book Refuge Recovery. It became very popular. He was also a counselor out in California, and
he's a licensed counselor.
He is a counselor, yeah.
Wow.
Out in Cali, and the huge organization was started with a treatment center, a lot of cool stuff. Well, this gentleman got caught up in a little bit of scandal, made some poor decisions when it comes to women, and so that organization distanced themselves from Noah and kind of broke off into what we know now as Recovery Dharma.
okay.
So the actual structure of the meetings and the program is very much the same, just more of a rebrand, and that's how I understood the process.
Gotcha. Well, that's fun. Let's see. So, first off, hey, Weston.
Well, so
I
would like to give my interpretation of it for any of the women that are watching and who have been victimized by a man who's been in a position of power, that it's not okay. And that they didn't just distance themselves from him. They decided that he wasn't willing to be very apologetic about these assaults or these victimizations of women. And so, they kicked him out of the Sangha, and Sangha means community. They kicked him out of the Sangha. So that has to be pretty intense and pretty important to point out. It's not something that I'm very willing to just brush aside very easily. And I'm very outspoken about these things because, again, toxic masculinity, it needs to stop. And everybody needs to kind of check their motives, check what's going on. Recovery needs to be a safe place for every man, woman, binary, non-binary person that walks in through that door. And if it isn't because of something I say or do, then I need to check myself.
Absolutely.
Amen, sister. Amen. That was really deep. Now I don't know where to go.
Well.
No, that was a mic drop. So, okay, so let's just go with let's see. I've got those two questions out of the way. Let's see if I can come up with something fascinating. Oh, I wanted to talk to you about the mala beads.
Yes.
Everybody always sees these and they go, oh, are those prayer beads and blah, blah, blah. And what do they mean and how do they figure it?
You ever hear of an abacus?
I have.
Okay, right. You count, you add. So it really depends for me because obviously I'm white from the Western Hemisphere. What it does for me is I use this as a counting tool. And there's a lot of different, they call them japa beads, Japa. Buddhism, Hinduism use these. Catholic Church has something similar. They use a rosary, and they use that to count prayer. This is used during meditation to kind of keep track. If you're keeping track of a certain mantra, like "May I be happy," "May I be happy," and you'll count. Using the beads. There's a sacred number with them. I'd have to read it, but there's this, let's see, it's 108, right? So the number 108 is considered a sacred number in Hinduism, Buddhism, and yogic tradition. Malas or japas. Japa beads come in a string of 108 and are used for devotional meditation, mantra, and prayer. So if you are practicing the spiritual aspect of it, that's what you would essentially be doing.
And then let's break that down. What does each individual bead mean?
It's not a thing.
Yeah, right?
It's not a thing, Kelly.
I just need something to do with my hands.
Well, and then I also
Exactly.
really kind of,
I also hear
Really
it's just
antsy,
kind of a reminder of
Yeah.
you to, you know, have a mindfulness. You know, it's just like wearing a rubber band or something like that, or tying
Absolutely.
tying a string around your finger.
Yeah, man, you're in
Which I
that
haven't
rush
done
hour
that.
and you're like, oh, may I be happy? May I be happy?
Right.
Right?
So Dusty, and Steph, and then there is also Cassie, and y'all are all
Dog.
What's up? Hey, so
Dogs matter.
yeah, and I will get to that for sure because we have her coming on the show, but they have an event coming up. But I was gonna say, as far as that, y'all actually are all facilitators for the meeting.
I mean, yeah, anybody can.
Right. Okay. So let's get into what. Okay. So when you go to a meeting, like if somebody was to show up to a meeting, real quick, Weston, can you pull up the Recovery Dharma so they can have the address of where the events are? Look, I did my homework.
Oh,
I
look
pulled
at
that.
you.
I pulled that off of Facebook.
Shout out to Cassie for making that.
Right.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, but y'all have a just so they know where to go.
Yeah.
Wednesday, and I went to the Mystic Mandala Center. I almost said
Mandala.
I wanted to say Mandela. You know, I wanted to say that.
Mandala.
But, and then Fridays at I haven't been out to that one, but that's in the Colony. That's too far.
That's
from me.
tonight.
I know.
And I want to take this opportunity to thank the Mystic Mandala Center and VJ and his organization for allowing us that space to use. It's a beautiful space.
Yeah.
And also to thank Metro Relief as well.
It was
'cause that's a
groovy.
wonderful
So,
space
okay, so
also.
from my experience when I went last Wednesday, I noticed one thing. Okay, do not eat before you go
Oh.
because there are moments of silence. So, like, my stomach's over there, like, talking, like, has this dialogue going on. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have eaten before I came. But other
That's
than
why
that,
we go to eat after. You missed
yeah,
out.
there you go.
We had
Yeah,
cake.
right. So,
Shout
but
out to Julie Bird on the cake.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Snickerdoodle.
But okay, so like when someone walks into this meeting, what can they expect? Like what goes on, what happens, and
We're going to shower them down first and
Right.
then dress their head.
Delouse them.
No.
Wipe them down with lavender.
It's really simple. So like on the Friday space, we light candles. We set, the lighting's low. It's a big open area at the Metro Relief in the Colony. And some of us sit on the floor, some of us sit on the couches, and we kind of make sort of a circle. And
I was going to say, do your stretching too, in case your hip flexors are old like mine.
Absolutely.
'Cause I
Just
was like,
you sit your hips higher. So
Right.
bring a blanket, fold it up, sit your hips up, okay?
Right.
But yeah, we just started out. It's the facilitator starts out. It's all in the book on page 105. It's free to print PDF at recoverydharma.org. And we talk about how we're not Buddhist teachers. We're not, it's specifically stated in that. And we start the meeting, we go around and we do a meditation. We just share our name, our gender pronouns if we'd like to, and do the meditation. We do some reading out of the book. For now, but we might read other Buddhist books if it's appropriate for the meeting and the Sangha. And then we go around and we share. And it's really an intimate setting. It's a really freeing and open, Wednesday we talked about trauma and that first noble truth, right? So
yeah, why don't you hit us? I bet Dusty's, let's see how well Dusty studied up. What are the 4 noble truths?
Well, I'll have to.
there is suffering.
Okay.
There is suffering, and there's a way to end suffering.
Right.
Yeah.
But I did want to go back to that question.
Sure.
What should we expect? Well, I get the question a lot. Dusty, how do I prepare for this meeting? What do I need to bring? Just show up.
Just show up.
show up.
I called Sunny last night. I reached out to her and I was like, girl, just bring it. Hey, Sunny, shout out to Recovery to Practice at UNT.
Yeah, so when Stephanie and Cassie and I got together to do this, we didn't have all the details figured out. We just said yes, and we'll figure it out along the way. So that's my challenge to anybody who wants to get involved or be a part of this Sangha.
That's kind of, I can relate to that. Yeah. That's because what I did with this webcast.
Really? Someone wanted to plan. I was like, we're not planning this. We're doing it.
Yeah,
we're people in recovery. We need community. We need people that when we're in the room with each other, we're like, oh, I get goosebumps. It's like, dude, I know you guys have my back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we just needed
there is something very important and powerful about that. Like, I mean, oh man, these people get me.
Huge.
These people understand me. Like, I mean, so many times in any recovery, I'll just go, my God, dude, that's exactly how I feel. You know what I mean?
Or like we know where to come.
Dealing with that.
We know where to come when somebody, like, you lost a family member recently. Man, I was in a meeting when I lost my brother a couple years ago, and it's like I need my people.
Right.
I need my people, and I know where to come when my head is like, I just don't know.
Sure.
And so that's what we wanted. We just wanted this place where it was like, I don't care what you're working through. If it's a behavior you're working through, a substance use disorder you're working through, codependency, man, just come on. Because you suffer like I suffer. And I want to end suffering.
Sure.
How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's the beauty of this one, because a lot of other programs, it's specific to alcohol or drugs. Here you can bring your friends, you can bring your mom, you can bring your 16-year-old kid.
Right.
Everybody has something to work on. So it's not just about chemical addictions. It's about behaviors. It's about whatever you're struggling with. And maybe you're just having a good day. You're not struggling with anything that day. Then you can be support of others.
Absolutely.
So the inclusion that this program has is unlike any other program, really. And that's what draws me to it.
And it doesn't dilute the process of recovery for anybody. So just because you're not talking about codependency, maybe you're talking about alcohol, it doesn't mean that person who's dealing with codependency isn't going to get something out of what you're sharing.
Sure. Yeah. And I just want to point that fact out and drive that home, that it's not a religion or
not a religion.
So that's what
Atheist,
I wanted to point
agnostic, spiritual people.
It's just, I mean, it's a mindset and it's a way of dealing with. Is there something you?
The only thing they ask you to believe is in your own empowerment, right? Your own empowerment to find your truth, not mine or Stephanie's or yours, but your own. There is countless ways of practicing this program.
Yeah.
So back to your question about what are the truths. There is suffering. I'm paraphrasing here.
Yeah.
There is suffering. There's a cause of suffering.
That's two.
Number two. There is an end to suffering.
There's an end.
And there's a path.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Pretty simple stuff. And then it goes into the eightfold path, which is a
What's the
very
eightfold
simple
path,
structure.
What is the eightfold path? Wise mind. It's your it's wise
Let's
mind, right?
Right.
Yeah, you got it.
You got
pull
it.
it up. And then the 3 jewels, Kelly.
The 3 jewels.
Oh,
now, I don't know.
I knew it.
You just dropped some knowledge. Let's hear it. 3 jewels.
You know one of them.
Okay.
Community. Sangha.
Okay.
Yeah. Dharma.
Okay.
The truth.
And the truth. And I brain farted. Help me out.
See? That's what you get for trying to make me look like a dummy.
Son of
I'm over here on the
karma came back to me.
There you go.
The eightfold path, which is wise understanding, wise intention, wise speech, wise action, wise livelihood, which isn't really covered in any other pathway. Wise effort, wise mindfulness, and wise concentration.
Booyah.
So all of these things that you can do, but you might not be doing them in a healthy way. So this is to do it in a wise, aka healthy way.
I want to put in a wise ass.
Got a little DBT. Got a little DBT flavor to it with that wise mind.
DBT. I don't know.
Dialectical behavioral therapy.
I like it. See. I like it. So anyway, so it's not going to be a bunch. I mean, it is there is meditation
Yes.
at the meeting, and it's a mindful meditation, which is guided, actually, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to say, so if you're sitting there going, I can't sit still, I can't stop my mind, perfect. Come on. You don't need to sit still. You don't have to. Okay, I'm not thinking. Shit, I'm thinking.
All right.
You're gonna think. You've got a brain.
I mean, I honestly, it was when I was there, I was concentrating on my hip flexors being so tight, which is probably a good thing that I was actually doing some stretching
We can
for
work
them.
on
Momo.
that. We can
So
work
I am
on
not,
that. His Momo,
Yeah.
Your
Well, I
Momo
need to
and
do
your
some
dad.
yoga with you. Honestly, I need to.
tomorrow at Skate Straight down
Yeah.
at 4 Down Project, a nonprofit that helps out their community, their Sangha.
Hey, real quick. Okay, so since you brought up a nonprofit, hey, can you bring up that thing? I want to also, I like to be a news source a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is something that's all near and dear to our hearts.
Yay.
And this is something really cool. And I actually have Cassie coming on to talk about Dogs Matter specifically. But this is a time-sensitive event. So I wanted to give it a little sunshine here.
Yeah.
So it is an organization called Dogs Matter. And basically what they do is if you're going into rehab or anybody that is trying to get treatment for a long-term, 30 days or over, they will facilitate or find a foster home.
Foster,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
For
that's
free.
for your doggies. So if you have a cat, what's the stitch on the cat?
You know, we could probably work something
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I have a roller derby friend right now who has Blue, the pit bull that needed a home for a little while.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that's how it works.
And
word
now,
of
is
mouth
this just in the DFW area, or is this nationwide, or do we know?
I think right now it's in our area. I believe that it's reaching down to Austin.
Okay.
But don't quote me. Do not quote me on
Right.
that.
Okay. But
yeah.
well, for now, we'll go with what we have in front of us. It's actually June 12th and 13th, and it is 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. both days, and that is at the Truck Yard in the
Yeah.
Colony.
Support-
Shout out to Truck Yard.
Shout out to Cotton.
Yeah, Cotton Burrows.
That's
I always
his
like.
brother.
I know. I always love
his
to say
broski.
that. I mean, somebody named Cotton has got to be a badass.
I know. How'd you get the name Dusty and he gets Cotton? What happened?
I don't know. They just got more creative after I was
They,
born.
they really did. Like Cotton.
But so it's a party for pups and help raise money and awareness for Dogs Matter. Dog paintings, games, prizes, raffle, talent show, food, drinks, vendor, and of course, bring your dogs.
Bring your dogs.
Bring your dogs. I'll be out there hanging out, axe throwing, maybe doing some karaoke.
Oh, well, then I will be there axe throwing as well. I was just going to drive by a Starbucks to cast, but I think I will,
we gotta do
whittle an axe.
Yeah, I'm
There
biking.
you
Yeah,
go.
right. So let's see what you got, Steph.
Oh, yeah.
So, so huge shout out to them, and we're going to have somebody talking a little more in depth about that organization coming up actually the beginning of next month. And then as far as Recovery Dharma, I mean, did we demystify it? I mean, do you think, is there something else that you would like to say about it? I mean, it's guided meditation and it's mindfulness.
Discussion.
And it's not religion based. There is, I mean, if you choose to, then by all means, you can.
You can make anything
you can
your religion. I made drugs and
can-
alcohol my religion. So
That's true.
Oh, deep, yes.
Right.
yeah,
yes.
so I worshipped those for many years.
Yeah.
So no, just come on out, make some friends. Check it out, demystify it for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And come out
'cause
to eat with us afterwards.
There
if
you
you like
go.
tacos.
Tacos.
Tacos, is that the-
because
is that the-
Angelina's, let's just plug that
Hey, let's
business.
Weston, if we can we throw that back up where the locations are where they can meet us for the for the colony, or I mean for the Plano meeting and the Recovery Dharma.
For the RD.
There we go.
RD
So
in
that
DFW.
and then we also want to talk about your Facebook page, right? And you have an
Oh, yeah.
Instagram, so it's Recovery Dharma DFW. If you go, you'll see something like this on the page on
Correct.
Facebook and on Instagram.
Yep.
And it'll basically kind of tell you any updates on the meetings or where they're
Yeah.
at if you need the address and
I do want to just say one more thing about that as we're demystifying, right? And this really is an all-inclusive. If you're sitting there going, oh man, I really wish this was down in Dallas. I really wish this was just somewhere other, closer to you in your area. You want to start a meeting, reach out to Dusty, myself, Cassie. We will encourage you and help you start that meeting.
We should
Very
have one.
simple.
Like,
We'll come out and support you.
we should
Absolutely.
have one Richardson area. Like talk to Anika and have it at. That would be a good spot.
We could even number one offender with Justin Box. He's out there on Sundays, doing that thing. You were doing Tai Chi. Remember the three of us Tai Chi? That was great.
Sure.
But yeah, we can definitely
hijack his number one offender.
No, but
make
what
a
we can
recovery
do
dharma.
is we can collab with anybody out there in that
Sure.
area that already has a meeting going on. You know.
Well, yeah, and so if I walk into the meeting tonight, do you have a topic already picked?
Nope.
Oh, do you just do it when you get there?
Yeah. It's all about being present, Kelly, being in the space that you're in.
I'm forward thinking.
You know, if I'm
man.
thinking about what I'm going to be doing at 7 p.m. or what Steph's going to
Oh
be doing at 7
Lord,
p.m.
how much anxiety would that even
Yeah,
create?
I don't wanna
dude?
be a part
I'm
of
like,
that.
my body just tensed up. Like, what? We have to figure it out right now.
No, we made the joke that she's got like 100 jobs, so it's like,
Oh, bless. You know, you remember from In Living Color, I've got a 10 jobs.
I have 14 jobs, man.
Dude, I gotta slow my roll.
Right. While we're here, Weston, can you go ahead and pull up those groovy shirts again, and we'll show the people. Also want to say a shout out to Summer Sky because they are the sponsor of the show. And
Summer Sky.
Summersky.us.us.us. Oh yeah, the ASMR. Go ahead.
ASMR.
Go ahead. Hey, do the summersky.us.
Summer Sky.
I would actually listen. I would actually listen to her, but I'm gonna bring
God.
celery next time she's on.
I am going to chew the hell out of that celery. Hey, if you are not, okay, let me say this. A guy back in San Clemente, where I started my recovery, I started in Newport Beach, but he would say, if you're not having fun in recovery, it's your own damn fault.
I agree with that.
And it is so damn true.
Right.
Dude. Just
We have a lot of fun.
let it go.
I have to be. Oh yeah, we're actually on a show. We actually have to
hey.
be professional.
There's so much cool stuff going on in the recovery community in DFW.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just talking about with some guys last night.
Yeah.
I mean, between the Phoenix and Skate Straight,
Straight.
number one offender.
Straight.
I mean,
What's
there's
up?
all this really good stuff.
Yeah.
And
So
if you
good.
don't find, just to piggyback of what Stephanie said,
Yeah.
if you don't find what you're looking for,
Make
create
it.
Make
Yeah.
it.
Make
You know,
it.
anybody
Yeah.
can do it. There's no rules to this thing.
There
Sure.
really isn't. The rules that was made up in your head, man.
Right.
The rules
The
were made up
rules
in your
were
head.
made by the man.
Don't hurt anybody. Don't get me started.
All right.
The rules are, just man, live your best life.
Yeah.
Live your best life. And if you want some guidance, we're here.
Well, I mean, that's
and if
a
you
very
don't like
Buddhist
us, go find
philosophy.
somebody else.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You goddamn tree hugging motherfucker.
I love my trees.
Right. So anyway, but shout out to Summer Sky. Love those guys. Without them, I would
wouldn't
not
have
have
the show.
found my path and wouldn't have my show. Yeah. So for sure, there's one of the shirts, but just go to Kelly Reverb or DJKellyReverb.com and you can find all the groovy shirts and stickers. Anything else you want to touch on as far as Recovery Dharma? Have we talked about it enough? And then any other things like
Just a shout out to you, Kelly, for doing this Pink Cloud. I mean, I'm being sincere.
Oh, okay.
Like it's really cool that you have this podcast and that you invite us local people, that
Right.
are trying to make some change in our community.
Well,
So,
I
thank you.
really appreciate that, and I want everybody because it's not just it's all about me, man.
Oh, it
it's
absolutely is not.
Kelly Reverb show, man. Woo.
And I want to second that, Kelly.
Yeah.
We're pretty good friends, and
Right.
I love what you're doing. And also, I want to thank you, Stephanie, and Cassie,
Aw.
because being a part of this new journey has
Yeah.
It's changed my life, and I really
Oh,
here,
look at
man.
this, dude. Dharma Cuddle
love
Puddle.
you
I love
guys.
you. Yeah,
Love
you're my brother,
I
dude.
mean, we go way back, but this has been a new and wonderful
different.
step.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of growth and goodness happening
Right.
here, man.
Well,
yeah.
and that's what I love about it's. I kind of make the analogy that it's like the 60s in recovery. A lot of it is, it is. It is very, no, it's
so
very
good,
open.
then- okay.
No, it's very open.
free.
No, it's very free. I'm not talking about free love or anything. I mean, but free love in a plutonic sense. But no. How it's like, oh, well, you have this going on. Oh, well, cool. Well, why don't you come with
Right,
us?
like there's
Oh,
no
well, yeah,
competition
exactly,
here.
yeah.
There's zero, and it's beautiful.
Right, and that's and that's the whole thing. I mean, why I did the show was because I was like, oh, well, there is so much stuff out there that I don't know about,
Sure.
and that I'm learning, but I just want people to raise awareness to it.
Get that lavender.
Oh yeah.
Where's your towel, buddy?
Yeah. Hold on, as I huff lavender on the air. It is actually good.
It is very good.
It
yeah.
is delish.
It is.
Aromatherapy.
It is.
Right.
I tell people in my yoga class, just put some bags in the car, like the moms with the minivans, and whip those suckers out when the kids are freaking out. Just toss them a lavender towel, man, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
It's like kid nip.
yeah,
Kid
kid
nip.
nip. That's it.
Funny. Okay, so but other than that, obviously go to our YouTube channel, thispinkcloud.com. Hey, and if you guys, since y'all are all on board with the show, if I notice y'all do some mentioning at the end of meetings.
Yes.
So if you want to actually, treat this as a resource, I mean, because that's really what it's intended to be. I mean,
That's how I see you. Is you're a networking, resourcing,
Right.
mammer jammer.
So, well, I mean, just because I'm not a place,
but you are.
but I am.
You
I'm
are
a
an
place.
You're an
entity.
entity.
I am an entity.
Ah,
there we
jinx.
go. But no. But that's the whole thing, and that's what I wanted to do with the show is people that were sober curious.
Yeah.
Or
For
even in
sure.
long-term recovery, find out what it's like and see how it can be or
Right.
what
It's
else
not
is
an
out
exclusive club. Again, it comes to that inclusion. I have a friend, a very dear friend of mine, totally sober curious.
Mm-hmm.
Just set the drink down because they wanted to see what their life was going to be like,
Sure.
without it.
Right.
And they don't need to define or identify as an alcoholic. They just want to set that drink down.
there. Sure.
That's great.
I want to share this real quick too.
Mm-hmm.
Similar kind of story. I had a young man reach out to me recently, and he says, "Looks like you guys have a lot of fun, these events, these meetings." He goes, "I really want to come to them, but I can't because I still smoke pot." And I
Right.
said, "Who told you can't?"
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, "I'm asking you, don't show up smelling like Snoop Dogg,
Absolutely.
but come."
Yeah,
was
I
like,
had the same
"Come
thing
hang out."
happen.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Nobody told you can't. We accept you for how you are,
Yeah.
no matter what."
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna shame you or tell you can't come back.
Nope.
We're gonna embrace you. We're gonna support you, and we're gonna see what you need.
Right.
I will say this, because I think it's important. What we say matters. And, I'll use this as an example. My brother was on medically assisted therapy on MAT, right? He was
Right.
on Suboxone. He was told he had to come off of it. He came off of it and he blew his head off. So, it's really important to stay in your lane. Know what it is that you need, be respectful of others. I don't know what another human being is going through. Maybe they need to keep smoking pot right now because if they don't, maybe they're going to blow their head off.
Right.
Or pop a bunch of pills or, I don't know.
Right.
But it really is a very serious matter. I hate to bring it down.
No.
But, at the same time, it's like, dude, I just don't know. I'm not going to tell
Right.
somebody not to come because they're smoking weed.
Sure.
Please come if you are. Don't smell like Snoop Dogg. Okay? I love you. I love you, Snoop. If you're watching, but
please be, and
respectful.
don't show. And you might not want to trigger somebody, and that might trigger.
Yeah,
somebody.
we don't want to.
If I showed up with a tall boy, hey, what's going on?
No, Kelly.
Yeah,
no, we will take you out.
we will take you out. But yeah, I just want to. So, did you have any shout outs y'all want to do? I mean, I know
Well, I work for MHMR Denton, so shout out, right? And that is we help people with severe mental illness, and we also have an IDD side, so an intellectual disabilities. And shout out to Lori Van Counseling. I'm also in practice under supervision there as a student intern.
Okay.
And shout out to the YMCA. Why not? I work there. And shout out to Yoga on Main.
And what about Skate Straight?
And Skate Straight. And my Saturday morning, my Rise and Recover Yoga. That is another place where I don't care if you're putting down a drink or a behavior. Come and practice yoga with me and bring a mat. And 10 a.m. at Skate Straight at 4 Down, 4 Down Project.
Right.
In Dallas, Mike Crum and those guys.
Yeah. Kurt. Eichelberger.
Shout out to Homeward Bound and Kurt.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Dusty.
Well, I'd like to big shout out to Texoma Community Center. That's where I do counseling.
Okay.
And we have an outstanding substance use disorder program. We have a MAT program too, which is medicated assisted treatment, called OBOT, which is office-based opioid treatment, where we provide Suboxone to those in need of that.
Real quick, I wanted to jump in because both of y'all have mentioned Suboxone. So how Suboxone was explained to me, and this is just a little 101 to make it accessible. But basically, imagine having like 3 to 4 drinks, and then you cannot get any more drunk than that. So that's how it was explained to me, that it's called a ceiling drug. So basically it'll get you, like if you are an opioid user, that Jesse, it looks like this is new information to you.
I'm always baffled by the explanations that I get.
Then tell me.
It's basically it's an opioid blocker, and it doesn't get you high. And so when people take it, they don't have the cravings like they used to. So when people come in and we assess them for a substance use disorder, not an addiction, not to be an addict, but a substance use disorder, in this case an opioid use disorder, we ask them a bunch of questions. And usually they say yes to every single one of them. Are you getting sick? Are you using more? Do you build up a tolerance, etc.?
Sure.
Are you fighting with your family? Are you losing your jobs?
Right.
Yes to all of them. A few months after they're on Suboxone, they're usually saying no to almost all those questions. And so now that they're saying no, and they can function in their community and within their family and their relationships, then they can find what their solution is. So it's medicated assisted treatment, not medicated assisted solution. The solution can be found once they're regulated.
Well, there you go.
Drop the mic.
So we provide that out at Texoma CC. We have a great staff. We also have veteran services, IDD services, children's services, mental health services. We serve Grayson, Fannin, and Cook counties, and then maybe even after that or around that. So if you have any questions about our services, hit me up on Facebook.
We'll just drag your body into one of those counties and get you help.
TexomaCC.org.
Right.
And then shout out to SoBarBasics.com, which is
that is Dusty's lovely community that he started about 5 years ago?
It's almost 6 or 7 years ago now.
Yeah, but it's actually SOBAR,
like a bar.
It is actually for people that are it was kind of started out of all industry
my muse
people.
Was the service industry.
Right.
And that's where SOBAR comes from, sober bartender. And BASICS is an acronym for Bartender and Service Industry Community Support.
Right.
So that's how it started, but because of its inclusiveness, expanded out to anybody who's interested, including people who don't experience substance use disorder, maybe just mental health or just need support. I have friends that still drink. socially and still maybe smoke weed socially, but they participate in the community because they want to be around positive people.
Sure.
Sober curious, elective sobriety, short-term sobriety, or
Harm
long-term sobriety.
reduction.
Bring it all in,
Yeah.
because we're there
Right.
to support you and have good times and do events and go out to dinner and hang out with people like Kelly and Stephanie and Cassie. And
Yeah, and it's like you go anywhere, and what's the common denominator? That supports change. Period.
Right.
So if there's change, whether you're drinking less or smoking less or whatever, you're able to just get a better quality of life because you're supported.
I agree. I love my sober community. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming out and letting the people know and demystifying Recovery Dharma. Hopefully we answered some questions. If you have any more questions, then just show up, dude. It's
Show
come
up.
on in.
Social media, show up, but just show up.
Yeah, and you're not going to hell if you show up. By
And
the
you
way,
don't,
it's
yeah.
okay.
That's what I love
Yes,
saying.
I
That.
love
You will not burn in
Jesus.
hell,
Right.
and if you don't love Jesus, you still won't burn in hell. Just come on,
Right.
come on.
Right. So, but thanks for coming out and spending time. Next week, I got my buddy Austin on with Marlo actually, and
nice.
she'll be sitting in.
Miss Marlo.
Hi, Marlo.
Yeah, what's up, girl?
Hey, girl.
But other than that, guys, like I always like to end the show, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.
And be dead.
Give that hard push.
Yeah.
Mic.
Smash.